Hey Gemini, welcome to Sweet Tea Astrology and Tarot. My name is Erica. This is your mid-January 2017 Tarot and Oracle video. Wow. Mid-January 2017. That's a lot. I've already discussed the astrology in the January video that I've already released on my channel. So if you are interested, please go check that out. This is going to be focused for the second half of the month after the full moon. Could possibly be involving the full moon. It just really depends. I want to take this time to remind you that this is a general reading for my Gemini friends and viewers, and that if this message is not resonant for you, I invite you to check your moon and your rising sign for more empowering and resonant messages there, because you are not just a Gemini, dear love. You have more than just that in you. I intend on pulling 6 cards total for you from the tarot deck, and I'm going to pull 1 card each from 2 separate oracle decks. And while I'm talking about that, the first is going to be from the Sage Goddess Gemstone Oracle deck. The second is from a brand new deck that I got to celebrate my 3,500th subscriber, and as a Christmas present as well. This is the Divine Oracle, or the Divine Circus Oracle by Elena Fairchild. I just really love her decks. I'm a big fan. I like the artwork. The artwork that's done on the cards for this specific deck that is the Elena Fairchild deck that I'm speaking of, the Divine Circus Oracle deck. The artwork on each card is done by different artists, so giving credit is going to be a little bit more difficult. One more shuffle, and then we will cut. I am filming this on New Year's Eve, and Zoe is starting to become a little bit trepidatious about the fireworks. I am too, honestly. For the new viewers, well, let me get my layout. The bottom card represents the underlying theme or the overarching energy. The first card represents the present situation at hand, or possibly you. The second card represents the past situation or the past energies at play. The third represents the possible obstacles in your way or in your situation. The fourth card represents the possible help in the situation. The fifth card represents the possible outcome of your situation. From the Sage Goddess Oracle deck. For my Gemini friends, mid-January. What I was going to say before I started putting out the cards was, I survived a house fire 2 years ago. It happened in the middle of the night, and I live in Louisiana. My fiance had a bunch of bullets that were not in a fire safe, gun safe, and when the fire made contact with the bullets, it sounded much like New Year's Eve or the 4th of July, or maybe both of those combined. So, yeah, the fireworks kind of sent me to a not-so-happy place. I'm trying to do these videos to keep me a little bit distracted. I didn't do this video this time last year. I didn't even have this video created this time last year. I made this channel in May on the Taurus new moon, because I have a Taurus moon. And my Venus placement natally is in Gemini. I love to talk, as you could tell. I'm going to take the top card from the Sage Goddess Gemstone Oracle deck, and now from the Divine Circus Oracle from Elena Fairchild. I loved the artwork in these cards, and I love the interpretation that the book that accompanies these cards that brings. I love that there is a portion for healing, And there's also a portion that deals with affirmations. And I'll share those portions with you for the corresponding card after the pause portion. I'll look it up and I'll share that with you. Because I usually pause to do the tarot math. I like to use the numbers at the top of the card to represent the astrological houses. And if the number is higher than the number 12, I reduce it to a number 2, 1 through 12, and go from there. I'm going to take the top card, and away we go. Alright, Gemini, what I'm going to do now is hit the pause button really quick, flip these cards over, do the tarot math, get your story together, and I'll be right back. Hang tight, y'all. Hey Gemini, I'm back with your cards, so let's get started. But this is my unicorn onesie with a pink mohawk. Okay. The underlying theme or overarching energy for this second half of January 2017 tarot reading is the Five of Pentacles. The Five of Pentacles is, the first thing I want to speak about is the Astrological House Association. I take the numbers and apply them to astrological houses. The fifth house is ruled by Leo, and it is the house of creation, creativity. It's the creative spark. It's where the artist starts his masterpiece. I like to think of the fifth house as the house that has your fingerprints and DNA all over it, because it's where you have the most skin in the game. It's the house of your pleasure and your social life and the social circles that you mingle in. It also deals with romance and building that romance, and it deals with the creation of your children and your children. The Pentacles can represent earth sign energy. The earth signs are Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. And this card in itself is representative of lack. It is representative of feeling out in the cold. It could also be like a dark night of the soul type feeling. This is also, in my opinion, a card of perception and how it shapes one's reality. And what I mean by that is these two individuals are going through the same thing, but she is focused on a different area. Her perspective of this situation is going to be different than this individual's who's right here next to her. She may be moving faster than him. Why? Because he's injured. He's taking a longer time. His perspective may be, she left me out in the cold, or she moved on without me. Her perspective may be, he was holding me back. I couldn't wait for him any longer. I say him and her for those pronouns because of the character association here. But that's really the only reason why. You can interchange it. It could be both males or both females. Really just depends on your situation or circumstance. The majority black color in the background of the card makes me want to remind you that it is always darkest before dawn. And you may be dealing with, like I said, a dark night of the soul or a spiritual test as well. The present energy at hand is the Six of Pentacles. The 6 represents the Virgo-ruled house of work and health, or competency and skills that you bring to the services that you provide. It also deals with your day-to-day agenda, your daily minutia, your daily grind. The Pentacles represent earth sign energy, and that can be, once again, a Taurus, a Virgo, or a Capricorn. Another thing that I think of when I see this card is also Libra, because of the scales right here. This card in itself is a card of equality, charity, and finding balance. I think that it is indicative that it only takes just the lightest of circumstances for these scales to change and for your wheel of fortune to go from good to bad or from bad to good. So remember that when you are having good times, that there will be times of lack as well, and prepare for that as well. But I see this as a card of charity and also benevolence. You could be dealing with someone who is either a Libra or possibly a fire sign because of all of the red right here. When I see a character decked out in this much red, it stands out as a fire sign to me. Fire signs are Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. Really just depends. I've never really noticed this before, but extreme close-up. Do you see how that patchwork kind of looks like a broken heart? Some of you may be going through a situation like that. Some of you may be seeking the justice system, and you may be trying to divvy out the assets between you and your spouse because of a separation or a divorce. For a very few small percentage of you, but that could be the case because this is the surrounding energy as well. If that's not the case, you may have just went crazy during Christmas, which, I mean, that's what people do in the States, right? I can't judge. The card that represents the past energy is a major arcana card. It is the moon. Oh, my nose is itching. Sorry. What does that mean when your nose is itching? I can't remember. I'm recording this on New Year's Eve. Sorry about the explosions in the background. This is the 18th card of the Major Arcana. 1 plus 8 is 9, and that speaks to the Sagittarius ruled house of long-distance trips, adventures in questing, higher education, the study of religion, philosophy, astrology, political system matters. It also governs the study of foreign languages, and it governs foreign people, foreign places, and foreign things. Now, the moon in itself is the ruling luminary of Cancer, and we are having a full moon in Cancer on the 12th or 13th, depending on where you live on the planet, and it's occurring in your second house, dealing with money, resources, self-esteem, earning ability, and the like. And I've mentioned 2 sets of pentacles now, and with that being in your second house, that really feels like your money, you're looking at your money and trying to balance and find a budget, or you're trying to find some sort of equity and make, if there is a split, make it equitable. But the moon is the ruling luminary of Cancer. However, this card, as a major arcana, is representative of the zodiac sign of Pisces. And we have Venus moving into Pisces, which is your 10th house, at the beginning of the month. And Neptune is also in Pisces, the 10th house. That's your career, your status, your reputation. It's dealing with authority figures and such. It could be that the full moon is what you're dealing with post full moon is what this reading is looking like, because the full moon is in the past. A lot of associations with these cards. I also think about boundaries when I see this card, because this looks like a bridge to me, and you can't tell where it is that you can cross, where it's safe to cross. The boundary is nebulous, if you will. The moon card in itself represents, like I said, the zodiac sign of Pisces. It deals with compassion, or it speaks to compassion, but it also deals with following your instincts or following your gut. Sorry, y'all. Looks like this will be the last video I get done for New Year's Eve. The moon can be an emotional time as well. With it being in Cancer, in your second house, it could be that you're dealing with somebody who is a Cancer, or it could be someone who is a Pisces. Might even be a Scorpio. Let's just say water signs to cover that. The association is with Venus and Pisces and Neptune and Pisces. The association is also because the moon is Cancer's ruling luminary and the full moon is in Cancer. There's just a lot of different associations that go with this house, or go with this card. Now, the card that represents the possible obstacle is another major arcana, and it's the World card. Now, the World card is the 21st card of the major arcana. 2 plus 1 is 3, and that speaks to the Gemini ruled house of communication, short distance trips, siblings, cousins, and neighbors, or your neighborhood, people who are on your level. When I see this card, one of the very first things that I think about is the World Wide Web, because that's what it was called way back in the day when normal households were able to get internet for the home. The World as a major arcana card represents the planet of Saturn. Saturn is in your 7th house, and that's going to be interesting because when we get to the tarot math, I'll tell you why. But Saturn represents structure, limitation, containment. Saturn right now is in your 7th house. The 7th house deals with your partnerships and your relationships and how you identify who you are as a human being through those partnerships and relationships and those interactions with those people. It also deals with counseling and open enemies. Open enemies is someone you would have an open beef with, someone you would testify against in open court. And I also see it as arguing online or on an online forum with someone where other people can actively participate and digest what's going on between you two. The World card, aside from representing Saturn, also could speak to liberation or peace. The obstacle, with this card being in the obstacle, it could be that for some of you, it may be that the obstacle is that you are being liberated from a relationship you didn't want to be liberated from. For others of you, it may be dealing with being liberated from a job that you didn't want to be liberated from. The obstacle also may be trying to find peace. The possible help in this situation is the Two of Cups. This is the minor arcana lover's card in many people's opinions. The 2 speaks to that 2nd house where we're having the full moon. There's been a lot of synchronicity for that. The 2nd house is ruled by Taurus. It's the house of your money, your possessions, your earning ability, your self-esteem. It is the house of mine. Anything you point to, introduce, classify, or qualify as mine would fall under the 2nd house umbrella. The cups represent water sign energy. That could be a Cancer, a Scorpio, or a Pisces. The cups also represent things of an emotional nature, like the things that would make your cup runneth over, if you will. The things that make you feel emotionally stable, fulfilled, and the cup is really a containment for those feelings. Now, whenever I see a lion's head or a lion in pictorial representation, I think of Leo. We're going to be experiencing eclipses in Leo throughout the year of 2017. I suggest you go check your sun, your moon, and your rising sign 2017 Heads Up Astrology video forecast series that I just released earlier today, and see what's going on with that. But yeah, the Two of Cups, this is the breaking of bread, the being on the same page, and possibly, you know, mutual feelings being exchanged between people. Like I said, this is the Minor Arcana Lovers card, and it could possibly be involving someone of a Leo nature or a Leo type energy. And I did mention that I felt like there would be a fire sign involved because of some of the coloring of the characters as well. Like in the Six of Pentacles, the main character is wearing red, a red cloak, red pants, and a red hat. We've got this individual here in the red cloak. We have another individual in the Two of Cups wearing a red headband. And we've got the Leo up there. Just saying. Now, to round out the reading, we have the King of Cups representing the possible outcome of the situation. The King of Cups is an emotionally mature individual who is capable of saying the right thing at the right time and doing it with an emotional intelligence that is needed and required for the situation at hand. The King of Cups is possibly psychically sensitive. This individual might receive messages. This individual is empathic. They are intuitive. They aren't afraid to acknowledge their emotions, but can also be moody, and it can also be escapist or escapist seeking. And I also want to point out that the possible help in the situation, there's 2 cups here and there's 2 cups in his hand. So just be aware that drinking might be something that comes to play as well. You are going to have work and friendship situations playing out. So just be careful if you're out with your friends to not get too socially lubricated. Could be the case for some individuals. But the King of Cups is, if we're looking at an individual's age range, we would say late 30s into the 40s. This is an adult who acts like an adult, responds like an adult, and thinks like an adult for the most part when they're operating at a higher vibration. At a lower vibration, this individual can be very paranoid and can be escapist. Could either be escapist through drugs or through drinking, or they have a highly addictive personality. Just depends. And it's no judgment. We all have our own path. But the help in the situation could be looking to be the higher version of the King of Cups, be that emotionally intelligent individual, as opposed to the lower vibration of the King of Cups. Now, I did the math on the tarot spread. It ended up being 52. 5 plus 2 is 7, and that speaks to the Libra-ruled house of your partnerships, relationships, and how you identify who you are as a human being through those interactions with those people in your world. Also, counseling and dealing with open enemies. And I said it would get interesting because Saturn, this card represents Saturn, structure, is in your 7th house. And you've also dealt with a Mercury retrograde in your 7th house, between 7th and 8th house. So what I'm thinking, just by looking at this paired with the astrology, is that some of you may be dealing with the repercussions of someone stepping out of their bounds, possibly in internet communication, and it's playing out in your relationship. Like, you get busted for going outside of bounds that you shouldn't have gone out of, or your partner thinks that you're doing that, or you're being accused of it in some way, and you feel like you're out in the cold. I don't mean to chuckle, it's just that's what it looks like to me. And it may just feel that way, it may not be that way. Mercury will be fully cleared of post-retrograde shadow towards the end of January, so the best time to try to recommunicate or reassess where you are, which page you and this other individual are on, would be late January, better yet early February if you could. Now, I pulled for you a card from the Sage Goddess Gemstone Oracle deck, and this is the Sunstone card. This card deals with strength, leadership, and benevolence. I said this was a card of benevolence. It can help heal and amplify the vibrations of your sacral chakra. Sunstone is the gem for sacral leadership. It inspires you to take action and own your desires, prompting creativity and bringing energy to your ideas. You have pulled this card because it is time for you to take charge of your endeavors wherever they may be. Creative, spiritual, or business related, meditate with Sunstone to overcome self-doubt, fuel conviction, and live your purpose with confidence. I was about to say Soulstone. That's the World of Warcraft warlock coming out in me. Sorry. Many, many, many moons ago that was played, but you can't get it out the blood. Now, for the Divine Circus Oracle card that I pulled for you from Elena Fairchild, you received the 35th card, Circus of Love. Three plus 5 is 8, and that speaks to the Scorpio ruled house of sexuality, other people's money, transformation, regeneration, and metamorphosis. It deals with instincts, primal, basic, or human. It covers the cycle of life, death, birth, and rebirth. It could be that you're going through the circus of love in your romance. Jupiter is in the 5th house. Jupiter expands whatever is going on in the 5th house. So, before, let's say, if you were in a relationship and you have history with this person, however y'all were doing, say, in October and, well, no, August and September, however y'all were in August or September, Jupiter moving into this house of romance will amplify what was going on. If it was good stuff, then it'll be great. It'll be a wonderful circus of love. If it was not so great, then it's going to amplify it in not so great ways and make you really assess if this is what you want or not. And I mean, that's a good thing, but it's a not so good thing. Growth hurts. They call it growing pains for a reason, right? Now, the Circus of Love card is an invitation for you to open your heart right now. It's an invitation for you to open your heart to life and to love, to laughter. It's asking you to prepare yourself to be swept off your feet. Understand that love is a spectrum. And some of us have very empty love reserve fuel tanks. Kindness, sweetness, affection, and warmth helps to refill those reserve tanks. Also remember that passion is a scale. It's not always going to be at one end or the other. And if it is, it won't be that way for long. It's difficult to maintain extremes. This card also invites you or asks you that if you've been hurt, that the circus of love is going to be rolling into town soon. And this is an invitation for you to RSVP, to come on down to the big top. Because in doing so, it can bring a heart-healing interaction that can help to heal you literally from the inside out. And it can help you to experience your life and love in a more vibrant color. This is also an indication of a possible love affair awaiting you, or finding out about a possible love affair. The healing affirmation that's associated with this card is to say 3 times daily, I love to love, and the universe loves me unconditionally. I hope that you enjoyed this reading, Gemini. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. And if you already have, I thank you from the bottom of my very grateful heart. I'll be around for the February astrology and tarot readings, but that'll be a minute. I hope that you're well. I hope that 2017 is treating you well. Please take care of yourself. Please be kind to yourself and save some kindness for others, because we're all going through private battles in our own lives that some of us may never speak about to another living soul. Employ your self-care measures, Gemini. And until next time, take care of yourself. And namaste, y'all. Bye.